to. Okay, perfect. As I articulated, I am based well, in South Africa, and I'm affiliated to University of Johannesburg. And my title is basically on artificial intelligence for teaching, reading, bibliometric, and I'm gonna do the bibliometric analysis, which will look at the trends, the collaboration, and scholarly development. And just a little bit of a background is that this is the ground breaking research for me, which from the previous research presenters, I've seen a lot that I still need to work on, which is the homework, and then which is maybe the future research I will bring to this platform on the next conference, right? And then my research really, the matters that I want to look at is why reading matters, and why do we have to bring in artificial intelligence? And from the space we are, is that we are experiencing higher amount of the students who are unable to read, or who are unable to read for a meaning at a grade appropriate levels. For that reason, that is what made me to want to look at this, right? Firstly, I will start by defining what is this study it's saying about reading. Reading is one of the most important skills for academic success because it enables the learners to understand information, engage with learning materials, and perform effectively across all the subject, right? And beyond the formal education, reading service can be a foundation of a long for lifelong learning, helping individuals acquire new knowledge and adapt to increasingly information-driven world, right? But however, despite its importance, many learners continue to struggle with the reading for meaning at a grade appropriate level, right? In South African perspective, for example, we expected a child who is in grade 4 to be able to read for a meaning, which in this case we find that there is a difficulty for those learners to read for a meaning. And this challenge is evident across both developed and developing countries, creating significant barriers to educational achievement and future opportunities. So as a result, the global literacy challenges remain a major concern for the educators, the policymakers, the researchers seeking innovation solutions to improve the outcome, right? So on this slide, I will look at why artificial intelligence in education. Artificial intelligence, it is increasingly informing the way reading is taught and supported in educational environments. And one of its key advantage is adaptive learning, and where system can adjust the difficulty and type of reading materials based on an individual's learner's needs and progress. So it is therefore alluded by other researchers or literatures that AI, it does enable the intelligent tutoring, providing learners with personalized guidance and support similar to having a visual tutor available at any time. And another important capability is real-time feedback, which allows the learners to receive the immediate responses on their reading performance, helping them to identify and correct the mistake more quickly. And AI further supports personalized instruction by tailoring the learning activities, recommendations, and interventions to individual learning styles, and also the ability rather than adopting one-size-fits-all approach. And finally, AI promotes accessibility and inclusions by supporting learners with different abilities, language backgrounds, learning needs. And I must also allude to that, like in Africa's global South, or specifically in South Africa, we have multiple languages. Like South Africa only we have 12 languages, official languages that are used. So AI can actually help these learners to improve and to also engage and contribute to the better literacy outcome, right? So looking further into the gap that the study identified is that although the artificial intelligence has demonstrated the considerable potential in supporting reading instruction, and the existing body of knowledge remain fragmented across different educational and technological domains. First, the previous study have shown that AI can improve reading comprehension and learner engagement, personalized learning, adaptive instructional support. And researchers, they also have explored various technologies, including tutoring system, AI-powered chatbots, generative AI tools, and many more, and also acknowledging the other that the presenters they have articulated in this platform. And secondly, despite this promising development, much of the research has focused on specific technologies or isolated educational contexts. And the third gap is that the several challenges continue to hinder the effective implementation of AI in reading education. And finally, there remain a lack of comprehensive synthesis capable of making the publication trends, the collaboration patterns, and also the thematic development. So for that reason, this study, to address this gap, we have developed the comprehensive understanding of this field. The study was guided by the 4 research questions, focusing on publication growth, scholarly collaboration, thematic development, and imaging future directions. And the research question 1, it's specifically so to examine the publication trends and growth trajectories of research on artificial intelligence for teaching and reading. And the second research question will focus on identifying the most productive authors, country institutions, and a collaborative network contributing to this field. And on the third question, we'll explore the thematic and conceptual structures that characterize the AI-supported reading education. And lastly, we'll already investigate the emerging trends and future research directions shaping the field, right? So this study, the methodology that they have adopted to answer the research questions is this study will adopted the bibliometric analysis approach. And the bibliometric analysis is a quantitative research method, and it's used to systematically evaluate and map the large bodies of scholarly literature. The method was particularly appropriate for this study because it enables the identification of the publication pattern, influential authors, collaboration networks, and emerging research themes within a specific of the study, right? And on the methodology, or what the researcher has found, is that the data for this study was collected from the Scopus database, which was selected because it is one of the most largest and most comprehensive database for peer-reviewed scholarly publication. And the research strategy focused on the few key concepts, which this was the keywords that we used, which is the artificial intelligence, reading, literacy, and education. And these terms were were combined using Boolean operators to maximize the retrieval accuracy while maintaining the relevance of the articles that we need for this study. And the initial research yielded the 23,275 a publication, and however on those publication there was books, the conferences and chapters and so forth, but only articles were taken, which we had about 10,587 articles that have been used to this study. Then here is the inclusion criteria that we have used, where we have selected only English language publications, and in this case it was only articles and the publications that are related to AI and reading education, and we only used the data that is found on Scopus, on Scopus only, right? So for that for that reason, the study, we have found out that
Ntswaki, 5 minutes.
okay, we addressed the research question by seeing the trend on the subject of artificial intelligence in education, and we have seen the growth of these kind of studies in multiple countries, and we have seen also that there's actually higher number of authors that have been engaged in this subject. And also we have seen again the growing pattern in the international collaborations, and also we have seen also that only like specific countries, they have a higher number of the top contributors. And if you can see from the few we have selected, that Global South, rather South Africa or Africa, is not included in the study. So that is the reason, or that will make this study very relevant and important, so that it can address these issues in the global south. And going further, looking at the findings, the findings have several important implications, and for the researchers, there's a need to expand the studies into presented context, particularly in the global south. And further, the study also makes several important contributions to the literature. Firstly, it maps the intellectual structure of AI-supported reading education, and secondly, it identified the publication growth patterns, which as the global south we can learn and we can adopt from those contributions that it has been alluded. So on that note, I will end here. Thank you.